Welcome to the Daily Views on September 17th in 2021. First, we go to Belfast in Northern Ireland. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has to bury his dream of a permanent transport link between Great Britain and Northern Ireland for the time being. Plans for a bridge or tunnel have been put on hold, said Northern Irish Infrastructure Minister Nicola Malone on Wednesday in Belfast. And she said, "The cost of this bridge has been estimated at £20 billion, and we all know what we can do for our infrastructure and our communities with £20 billion. Malone said that in a committee meeting of the Northern Irish Parliament. Johnson had repeatedly spoken out in favour of a permanent link with the north of the Irish island. The project is also being examined by an expert on behalf of the UK government, whose report is due to be published soon. Johnson also wants to strengthen unity in the United Kingdom with a tunnel, also because there were delivery problems between Great Britain and the north of the Irish island as a result of Brexit. And now let's go to Brussels in Belgium. New car registrations in the European Union fell significantly in the summer months of July and August. In July, compared to the same month last year, there was a decrease of 23.2% to 823,949 cars. In August, there were 622,939 cars. That's 19% fewer. This was announced by the European Manufacturers Association, ACEA, on Thursday in Brussels. For the first 8 months, however, the EU car market was still above the previous year's period due to the corona-related slump in spring 2020. 6.81 million newly registered cars in this period mean an increase of 11.2%. The largest car markets in the EU, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, all recorded double-digit percentage declines in both July and August. On the one hand, demand had built up in many countries last year after the hard lockdown in the spring. On the other hand, many countries supported demand for cars through subsidy programs. In Germany, the interim VAT cut came into effect in July 2020, which made savings possible, especially when buying expensive goods such as cars. And now, let's go to Germany, let's go to Frankfurt. The euro remained stable above the $1.18 mark on Thursday. In the morning, the common currency cost $1.1810, roughly the same as the night before. The European Central Bank has set the reference rate the previous days at $1.1824. The euro-dollar exchange rate has shown relatively little movement for some time now. Expert Ulrich Leichtmann from Commerzbank justifies this primarily with the fact that key interest rate changes are not to be expected in the long term, either in the euro area or in the USA. In addition, if they are due, they are likely to be much weaker than in earlier times. This limits the exchange rate fluctuations. That's what I was looking for. On Thursday, investors looked at economic data from the US on the one hand. Figures from the retail trade and weekly labor market data were expected. Several high-ranking central bankers were going public in the euro area, including ECB President Christine Lagarde. And now let's go to Beijing in China. At least 3 people were killed in an earthquake in southwest China. As state media reported on Thursday, at least 60 people were injured. 3 of them suffered serious injuries. The quake, which centered in Luxian County in the Sichuan province on Thursday morning, reached a magnitude of 6.0. The state People's Daily reported serious damage. According to this, 733 houses collapsed and over 7,000 buildings were damaged. There were power outages. The rescue work continued. The west of China is regularly hit by earthquakes. A 7.9 magnitude earthquake in May 2008 killed nearly 90,000 people in Sichuan. And now let's go to Tokyo in Japan. Japan's export growth weakened more sharply than expected in August due to stronger corona consequences and problems in car production as a result of the chip shortage. The Ministry of Finance announced on Thursday, based on preliminary data, that exports had increased by 26.2% compared to the previous year. This was the 6th month in a row that exports increased. However, growth was significantly lower than in the previous months. Experts had expected a slower increase in exports, but expected an increase in more than 30%. Since imports in August rose by almost 45% compared to the previous year, the balance of the trade balance slipped into the red. The trade deficit was 635 billion yen, that's 4.9 billion euros, after the increase in July. And now let's go to Sacramento in the United States. The Democratic governor of the US state of California, Gavin Newsom, has successfully fended off a deselection process. In a special vote on Tuesday, the majority of voters in the West Coast state voted to keep the 53-year-old in office as governor. According to preliminary figures from the local election authorities, almost 64% of voters voted against Newsom's early voting out. A group of Republicans has initiated the voting against the governor and collected more than the necessary 1.5 million signatures you needed for it months ago. Newsom has been criticized by the conservative side, among other things, for his liberal immigration policy and strict corona regulations. The attempt to vote out really picked up speed in connection with the corona pandemic, especially when the Democrat ordered a strict lockdown but visited an expensive restaurant with friends. Newsom apologized for the misstep, but his opponents used it for their campaign, but as we know now, unsuccessfully. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.